My name is Anne Besse. I'm from Wageningen University and Research in the Netherlands, and I'm the co-coordinator of EJP Soil. So very welcome to all of you. A lot of people I don't know, so really great that you're here. For this meeting, we invited the projects from internal projects from EJP Soil, but also external projects. So I hope that some of you are here as well, but also the communication representatives of EJP Soil and national coordinators. So as many consortium members as possible. Well, I will be moderating the session today with the help of my colleagues presenters. I'm going to share my screen to show the agenda for today. Okay. So we will have for 1.5 hours to discuss open science issues within EJP Soil and what are the possibilities are. We'll have actually four sections. One section is on open access publishing. I will be presenting it. Then we'll talk about fair data, what it is, and how to store your data set in a repository. And that will be presented by Maria Fantapié. She's from PREA in Italy. And yes. And by Paul van Genuchten. He will be supporting Maria with answering questions. He's from ISRIC in Wageningen, the Netherlands. They both work in the work package 6 of EJP Soil. And after that, Sevinç Madenoglu from Tagem in Turkey she is co-lead of the work package 9. She will be presenting on how we are reporting our publications. And then at the end, so after each of the presentation, you will have a chance to discuss some questions. So I would like to invite you to put your questions in the chat. And but also at the very end, after all the presentations, there will be a possibility to have a discussion and also get some of your questions and discuss issues that arise. Oh yeah, and I have here also a picture of Sevinç. So I'm going to start with the first presentation, which is open access for publications and underlying data. So to start with, what is open science, what is about, and why we want to use open science in our research. Also, we have to report our publications and data to Horizon 2020, the co-funder of EJP Soil. So we have to report our research output, which is very important because then we get our money. If we don't do it, we don't get the money. But the more important is that it is really sharing our results. And here you see the different motivations why we would use open science. First of all, it's important when we publish articles that our readers can look back and check for the transparency, how the data were collected, how the analyses have been made, and whether it's a proper, whether the publication is using the right methods. Also, it's very good for our impact because the others can use better our results. This is what we all scientists really want to have. that others read our articles and we use our results. But also, well, sharing our results is important for collaboration. It invites others to cooperate. So if you publish your data set and then the others want to use it, they would seek for a collaboration with you and include you in their next publication, possibly. And the last one is equity, which is also important, that sometimes we forget that we all can read all articles because our institutions have access and subscriptions, but the others don't. Open science is not only publishing your articles, open access and sharing your data, but it can be much more. Actually, open science is about opening actually the whole research cycle. So I would like to invite you to also think about how you can use open science from the very start of your research. Maybe publishing the methods that you use, using citizen science, and publishing your models and codes. Well, all different things, maybe lab notes, etc. But today we'll primarily concentrate on the publications, the data underlying publications, and the broader data sets. So we have been, well, EJP Soil started in February 2020, and it took quite a while to get our results, well, our publications to appear. So we have published something in 2020 and 21, but last year was actually the year when we really started publishing. Primarily peer-reviewed articles, but also conference proceedings, and of course deliverables and reports. But possibly PhD thesis, master thesis, book chapters, any other professional articles in professional journals, etc. What we have noticed, because we have to report our publications, this work package 9 is reporting these publications to the portal of the European Commission. We have noticed that not everyone reports all the publications. So when we were checking for EJP Soil publications in the Web of Science, we found others that were not reported. But also when you report publications in a continuous template that is available for that, we notice that it's often, the information that's there is often incomplete. So what I will do in a moment is go through the different aspects of the continuous reporting template, which at the same time will show what are the major aspects of open access, and how to deal with it, so that you will know what is needed from you when you report your publication. So these are the information. This is the information that you would need to take in your in the continuous reporting template about your publication. And I will not go through all of them, but I will pick out some of them. For example, well, is your article open access? Yes, for peer-reviewed articles, it is mandatory and of course preferred for all other publications if possible. So how does it work for peer-reviewed articles? Basically, there are two options to publish your article open access. One is a so-called gold open access, when your article is published open access by the publisher. So at the moment that it's published, it is open access already. So we have noticed that nowadays almost all of the reported publications are open access, but not all of them. So the other option is green open access, also called self-archiving. This when your article is not published open access, but you do it actually yourself after it has been published. So you do it in a repository of your institute, or in Zenodo, which is the repository of the European Union, European Commission. Normally, you would need to deal with the embargo, with the copyright restrictions of the publisher, because when your article is not open access, you have transferred your copyright to the publisher. So then you're allowed to reuse your article, to republish your article, but after an embargo period. For the requirements for the Horizon 2020 is that the maximum embargo period is 6 months for natural sciences and 12 months for social sciences. That means that it's normally longer by the publisher. So you will need to ask a permission from the publisher to deposit your article earlier. For that, there is a template available, which is in the link here that you will receive later after this webinar. So with this template, you indicate to the publisher that you are that this publication is part of the Horizon 2020 project. And with this, you have a restriction of a maximum embargo of 6 months, and then the publisher will allow that. And then after that, you either ask your library to deposit your article in an institutional repository, or you do it yourself in Zenodo. So how does it work? One moment. Something going wrong. Okay. So when you publish, it means that when you publish your article, you choose the publisher to submit it to, you have to consider open access options beforehand. So you need to have a look. Does it cost money to publish open access? Can I pay it from the project? Is it not possible to publish your article open access with the publisher? How am I going to do it with the self-archiving? What I would also like to tell you is please be aware of the predatory publishers. These are the publishers. There's a whole variety of predatory publishers. Some would do as if they are a renommated publisher, a renommated journal, but they are not. So you just go to the wrong page. That mostly predatory publishers are mostly open access publishers. So once you submit your paper, you pay for it. So this can be very interesting for those who want to get money from you without doing a proper review process. So here there is a link to a checklist where you can go through and see if you have doubts if the journal you're submitting your article to is trusted. Please go through this checklist. There is also a classification of journals available that was made by the Finnish scientific community. They have looked at different journals with different publishers and gave a journal a score, whether it is a renommated journal or not. So the journals like from MDPI publisher are not always good journals. So it could be some help for you to decide whether you want to send your article to this journal or not. So the idea is think about it in advance, check whether you're doing the right thing, and then submit. Yes, so we've been talking about open access. The next one is a repository link that is asked for your template. So what is the repository link? It is definitely not the link to the publisher, but it is a link to the trusted repository. So it's either, again, your institutional repository or Zenodo. It is mandated for all the publications. So even if your article is open access, you will still need to deposit your article in a repository and put a repository link to the template. So how does it look like? For example, this is an article from Wageningen University and Research, and it is deposited in our institutional repository. So you see here on the right that there are two links to the document from this metadata page. One goes to the journal itself. It's Journal of Environmental Management, and it is an open access article because you see the CC BY license to it. And besides, there is also a link to the same article in the repository, in our repository. So this is what we would need from you. Again, how does it look in Zenodo? For example, if you don't know how to deposit your article in your institutional repository, you can go to Zenodo. So what you do then, you upload your article to Zenodo and you indicate the DOI, you put in the DOI from your article as was published by the publisher. So then this copy in Zenodo will also lead to the original article as well. The two of them are connected with each other. Okay, the next one is the underlying data. So what is expected from the open science point of view is it is mandated for peer review articles to have their underlying data in open access if new data are used. So when you publish the article, you need to make sure that the data that you use for your analysis are available. How to do that? You cannot do it immediately, so not in all cases at least. So it is the requirement as open access as soon as possible. So it means that you need to deposit your data and the metadata in an eligible repository. So how to do it? You prepare your data for sharing, and Maria will be also using this figure later in her presentation. You prepare your data for sharing, then you select an eligible repository to it. Eligible repository is, again, a repository of your institute or Zenodo. And then you add a data availability statement to your article. And with that, you connect your article to the data and the data to the article. So both of them will have a DOI. That means that your data will also become a publication, which might be also very useful. You add a license to it, an open license, and then what is important is that some journals offer a possibility to store your data as supplementary material on their publishing platform. But in that case, it's not eligible because it's not a sustainable way of storing data, because if the publisher is gone bankrupt, then your article and the data will be lost. So this is why Horizon 2020 is asking for proper deposition of your article and the data to the repository. So what about the copyright license for open access articles and data? We use CC BY license. It's called Creative Commons, and BY stands for by attribution. So that means that in these cases, the ones in the red square, that everyone is can read your article, can reuse it, and then when reusing, attribute you or cite you there. CC BY is more general license, allowing for copying, publishing, for commercial reuse, for modifying and adapting the information, and also for changing license if needed in their own article. But there are also different tastes of CC BY licenses, excluding one of the components that are here. For example, CC BY NC license means that someone else is not allowed to use your data for commercial purposes or your article. So if you're not sure which one to use, we would advise you to use just a general CC BY license, but if you're not sure which one to use, you can use the tool here to choose the right one. It will ask you questions, and then at the end, you will get the right license as advice. So now we've been talking about underlying data, and another thing which is important for European Commission is the acknowledgement of EJP soil grant number. It is mandatory, so you can add some text to your article acknowledging EJP soil with a grant number to it. I will also add the example text to it. I forgot to do it. So and possibly if you're working in a project, also add the co-fund of your project, so your national funder. Oh yeah, this is the example of the text that you can use. So the grant number, the title of EJP soil, and mentioning that it is funded by Horizon 2020. So we're not publishing only peer-reviewed articles, but also other research outputs. And the idea is, of course, to share those as much as possible. So that could be deliverables and reports. All project deliverables and reports should be publicly available. If it is not under some restrictions. And please consider, is it interesting to a broader group? If it is, then you can make it open access and add a DOI to it. If you are still going to publish your data or your results in peer-reviewed publications and you want to have an embargo to it, it's also possible. Please apply for a DOI of your publication, deliverable, or report, because then the others can probably cite you. And use the CC BY license, as I explained before, so that you indicate to the others how they can reuse your publication. And of course, consider what else you would like to share. For example, some presentations that you made, possibly videos, or any other information there. You can also request a DOI to it and publish it with a CC BY license, and then also report it. So that's what I wanted to tell you about open access for publications. if you want to read more in detail the requirements from the Horizon 2020, you can find them here. And also, if you have any questions, you can always email me to or any doubts how to go forward. Please let me know. So I will stop sharing my applications, and I don't know if there are any questions, because I think there's nothing yet in the chat.
I don't think so.
Does anyone want to ask anything? Okay, well, there will be a possibility to do it at the end of all the presentations. So then I would like to suggest, Maria, for you to...
Yeah, okay. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay, so hello to everybody. I'm going to share the presentation. Can you see it? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so I will integrate partially because a lot of things are already been said by Anna about the specific topic of sharing soil data. And especially on repositories, licenses, and metadata. This presentation was done by me together with the collaboration of Fanny van Egmond and Paul van Genukten from Wageningen and Maria van Tappier from CREA, Italy. Okay, so we are a project which is funded under Horizon 2020, so we are obliged to follow a FAIR principle, and this is also written in the data management plan. So what does it mean? It means that the data we produce must be findable, data and a result of research must be findable, interoperable, accessible, and reusable. I will enter into detail to explain in the next slides. So this slide was already presented by Anne, but I would like just to underline some key concept about the topic of data sets, that the data sets under your scientific publication should be deposited under permanent repository, and one suggested is Zenodo. The key element is that they must be permanent repositories, as Anna said. So, for example, if you publish this as supplementary material, this is not. There could be that this is not a permanent repository. So it is suggested that you deposit not as a supplementary material of the paper. And the other really important thing is to use a license which permit to have this data as open. We suggest this, CC BY, because it is open, but you have the recognition of the authorship of this data set. So the thing I will underline is that when you produce some research, you are not only using data set that you have produced under EJP soil, but you may be also using other data set that you have collected from other soil data owners producing other research before EJP soil start, or also during EJP soil, but under other research. So this is something that we have already said in previous meeting, but I want to repeat again for clarity. We are now dealing in this presentation about the data set that are produced with the funding of EJP soil. So, so this is in the right side of the slide, but you may also use what is called in the
So Maria, we lost you. I think I'm not the only one. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you, but Maria seems to be frozen.
Yeah. the best way to deal with it is leave and come back.
Maybe, Anna, you can answer that question if the presentation will be available, because there's a lot of nice information on it.
Yes. Well, I have here a list of participants, so I will send by email our presentations to you after the webinar so that you can use the links later on.
Okay, great, thanks.
Okay.
I cannot step in for Maria, but maybe if people already have questions, I would be able to answer them related to her topic.
Does anyone have a question? Well, everyone's, of course, thinking that all the questions will be answered by the presentation. Do you have the presentation, Paul?
No, I don't. Actually, maybe
have
let me give a
with-
quick look.
Maybe one of the difficulties is often
when you have got shared data that come from different sources, how you can disentangle them. So that you really only make those data that have been collected under the EJP are made open access. I think that is sometimes not that easy. Especially because I'm sort of dealing with modeling, and then you have to collect data from all sort of different sources. And I don't know how to deal with that.
Yeah, we have a similar situation where we have like hundreds of covariates and then some sample data, and then we combine that into a prediction. Usually you can quite easily publish the metadata anyway, even if the data is not published. So that this really gives this transparency. Okay, which data has been used to produce this product. And in many cases, for many of the covariates, there is already metadata online, so you can just reference a DOI saying, "Hey, I used that data set as a source." But true, it's sometimes it's challenging to fully document the workflow that you're using.
Okay, I have here Maria's slides. These are the right ones, and she didn't change her presentation too much. So
I have just a contact with Maria on the phone, and she's saying that there is a huge storm down in Florence, and the network is not working. But she's trying to reconnect via mobile data phone, and she said that we might, in the meantime, move to the next presentation while she tried to come back to us.
So Paul, would you like to present further, or shall we just ask Savage to step in?
Yeah, please continue with the next, because I'm not well prepared.
Okay. Savage, do you have any slides, or will you?
Yes, I am sharing now. Sorry. No. Because there is a problem I don't understand. Okay, I'll click on.
Well, I suggest then we take 5 minutes break and then
Yes, it would be
give
better.
Sevin
I
a
think.
chance to look for it and just get some coffee. So I see you back in 10:42.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Uh,
Mi sa che Maria gli è saltata, sai?
So is Maria on the way?
Yeah, yes, the connection is cut off, and probably Maria will connect briefly.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah. Are you yourself also
This is a very windy day, and the connection is problematic today.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, then Sevinch, do you think we can go further with your presentation?
Yes, I can briefly explain how we can report the scientific publication within the EJP soil. You know,
do you think you can make it in presenters mode or in the slide?
Yes, I will. I will do.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Hello, everybody. In this part of the webinar, I would like to mention briefly how we can report the EJP, the scientific publication within the EJP soil structure. This is doing the work package 9 communication dissemination in the EJP soil. And why we are reporting the scientific publication? Because the scientific publication are important indicator of our EJP soil activities, and it is, as Anna mentioned, it is obligatory to report them every year by the members of the consortium. How we can do this reporting in this structure, and there is a concrete template coming from the H2020 guidelines, and we use this template to report scientific publication. Normally, the reporting period at the end of each year, and each members, and this responsibility belongs to national communication representatives and project communication representatives. You know, each partner has one national communication representatives, and each project has one project communication representative. In the first 3 years, we carried out this reporting task at the end of the year, and each NCR and PCR submitted their scientific publication and also the communication dissemination activities to the work package 9. But based on our previous experience, and there was some obstacles because of the short reporting period at the end of the year, and for this reason, this year we created the continuous reporting template, and we distribute this continuous reporting template to the project communication representative, nation communication representative, and work package leads of the EJP soil consortium. What is the benefits of the continuous reporting templates? It means that this is the Google Docs document, and each responsible communication representative can reach a whole year this template and can report their scientific publication during the year. At the end of the year, as a work package 9, we will compile the all scientific publication, and we will check and we will report to the coordination. There are two types scientific publication should be reported. The first one is produced from EJP soil activities. Second one funded by EJP soil budget. Again, based on our previous experience, many of the times funded publications did not report because they are not considered as a EJP soil publication, but both produced and funded publications are eligible to report to the work package 9 by the members. Six types of we have 6 types of scientific publication that we need to report, and then you will see on the reporting template these categories. As Anna mentioned, there are yes, there is a deep increase as we expect a number of the published publication in the EJP Soil Consortium, and we are close to the 4th year reporting period, and then we expect much more publication this year because we increased activities, and we are close ending of the project activities. But as Anna mentioned, there are some challenges that we face so far. For instance, acknowledgement part is very important, because if we not rightly acknowledge our program in the publication, it is not accepted by the EJP EC consortium, EC European Commission. For this reason, we need to acknowledge EJP soil program with the grant number and the title in our scientific publication. The other is as Anna mentioned again, especially, and we prefer all publication can be open access for the communication dissemination our activities to the broad stakeholders. But for the peer-reviewed publications, the position of the publication on the eligible repository is mandatory. It means that eligible repository are institutional repository or Zenodo. Maybe there are other eligible repository, but we do not have concrete information about that. But we can advise safely Zenodo or your institutional repository are much more suitable to deposit your publication on this platform. This is the reporting template. Yes, this is now on the Google platform, and you can reach every time, and you can write your scientific publication in the proper way on the template. The most important thing is that in this template, this required information is very, very simple, and then all of them located in your publication. But all the important thing is that all columns should be completed by the reporters. Otherwise, we cannot report your publication to the European Commission, because they did not accept. After your reporting, the scientific publication produced and funded by EJP Soil, in the main 2 places, we give the place in the 2 platforms. The first is EC portal. The second is EJP Soil website, knowledge sharing platform. You will see it can be seen in this platform. But the other important point is that if you don't report your publication through this process to the work package 9 and to the coordination and to the European Commission, and many of the publication through the relevant platform coming to the EC portal, and they listed in the EC portal. It means that anyway we should report our publication in the proper way to firstly work package 9 and then to the European Commission. And we will also organize the webinars for the continuous reporting template soon. And then I think our work package lead, Line, work package 9 lead, Line, announced these webinars times. And if you have any further question about any detailed question about the template, we can answer during the next webinar. These are the main points for the reporting of the EJP soil scientific publication. If you have any question, I can answer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sevinç.
I'm back.
Yes, very good, Maria.
Can you hear me? Because I changed the computer also.
Yes, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay.
Okay.
So can I ask who has got access to the Google Docs, or how I can get that?
Google Docs is accessible by project communication representatives and nation communication representatives, but we suggest them, especially for the project communication representatives, we suggest them to put this template to the project share folder. I think many of the project has the share folder, and then many of project communication representative put this template on this share folder. It means that each project member can reach through this way and can write their scientific publication.
Okay, and I guess that the project coordinators and project communication representatives know that they need to inform the project participants and put the template there. Okay, so if you don't know where the template is, please ask your project coordinator and who will know how to access it. So from now on, if I would like to summarize your message, at the moment that you publish something which you think is valuable to share, then please include it immediately in the continuous reporting template. And it is obliged or mandatory to do it for publications, for all scientific publications. Okay, are there any other questions to Sevinch? Please, if you have questions, put them in the chat. And I would like to proceed with Maria. Welcome back, Maria.
Yes. I'm here. There is a storm outside here, the heavy storm. And so
yeah, we had it yesterday in the Netherlands. Yeah.
Okay, so I was okay, I think here. Okay, so I was just speaking about the difference between the data set that you will produce under and you have produced with the EJP soil funding, which must follow FAIR principle. But you may also use some data set that is mentioned in the grant agreement and consortium agreement as background data, which is something that you may have from previous project or also given to you by other data owners. So in the case of background data sets, you are not obliged to follow the FAIR principle. You should just use the rules that the producer of this data set has given to this data. And also there is the topic about the coordinates, which follows the national legislation. Okay, so going to what does it mean make data interoperable under Working Package 6. It's been produced by Wageningen, Paul van Genukten, a very interesting tool to be used online. So you can enter this link and you can find several courses that has been given by Paul in Wageningen. And yes, we are also going to have a presentation of tools that we are producing under Working Package 6 during the stakeholder forum online that will be held from 15 to 17 November this year. But I mean, today the main topic is not just making interoperable, but the other part of the FAIR principle. So how to make data accessible, as was said by Anne, it is required to have them uploaded in permanent repositories. What does it mean? That these repositories are guaranteed more than 20 years. And so what is suggested by European Commission is to use Zenodo, but it is also possible to use other kind of permanent repositories, such Dataverse, which is, for example, used by INVAE. And yes, this is just to repeat the concept about the background data sets and what has been produced under EJP soil. So what is produced under EJP soil, as was said, should follow CC BY rules. So the license is this one. So and as I told you before the interruption, is the meaning is that the data set is open, but it is recognized the authorship of this data set. And this is what was presented by Jan. So there are several kinds of CC BY licenses. What the meaning is that is open, but as you see,
oh no. That's a pity. Maria, we cannot hear you. We see that you're changing slides.
She muted, I think.
Sorry, what did you say, Sophie?
She muted, but she's connected still.
Yes. I think that I muted. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Which one you lost? This one?
We were at the copyright page.
So this one.
Well, yeah. And then
Okay.
you said there are different licenses.
Yes.
I was.
Yeah. Yes. So I was saying that you can use any kind of CC BY you just choose. The meaning again is that the data is public, open data, but there is BY means that there is attributed the authorship on the data set, but then you may be more restrictive in other sense. For example, you may not allow the commercial use or modification or change of license. So all these are admitted. You must just declare which one you will use. And so coming to make data findable, what is required is to have a metadata standard. There are different kinds of metadata. So I will speak again in other slides. And also it is important to use keywords to make your data set findable. And essential for us is to use APCs, not with no separation between, but link it to terms and put the name of your project and some kind of other keywords. And so under EJP soil, the working package 6 has also developed a catalog of soil datasets. And this also to make the data much more findable. And link into EJP soil. So this is the catalog, how it looks like. This is an example that was done in Riga because it's about Latvia. So you may see what is already available about Latvia in the catalog and how it looks like. And yes, in the catalog is accessible, the background of the catalog through GitHub. And so there are folders for every project, internal project of EJP soil. We are thinking also to make a specific meeting to explain in detail how to use this GitHub. And yes, about the metadata, which is a key topic on making data findable. You also have here in this presentation that after we share with you a link to kind of instruction on how to produce metadata in a standard way. So you may adopt 3 options. The first one is maintaining the metadata together with the source in your computer, or another maybe more easy way and good way is to just use the metadata which are foreseen when you upload in Zenodo or also in Dataverse. So when you upload the dataset into this repository, there is a list of metadata that you can upload. And it was also prepared as an instruction online on how to do this. Or otherwise, you may use a template that was also produced to facilitate this. And so I will explain you which is the workflow. You have the dataset. If the dataset has already a DOI, this most probably implies that you have already uploaded, for example, in Zenodo. So you may also have the metadata linked to this dataset. In this case, you do not have to do anymore. You just have to report this dataset in the continuous reporting template that you have from RISA. Instead, if you do not have a DOI, you may also have you applying metadata standard foreseen by ISO. So in this case, again, you do not have to do anymore and just publish your metadata file. Otherwise, if you do not have adopted this standard, in this case, we suggest to use the metadata template produced by EJP Soil. You have here the link to access to this Excel. There are also, as I told you, also there is a comparison of the different standards that can be used in this link. The important thing is to use a standard. Anyone is possible, but the important thing is to use a standard. As is linked in this slide, these are the possible standards for metadata. And this is what I mentioned to you is the metadata template that could help you in the case you do not have already a DOI or adopted a standard, just to compile all the necessary information to have your metadata in a standard format. And you can access to this file here with this link. So this is all by my side. Today was very difficult to do this presentation. Okay.
Thank you very much, Maria. You would like to unshare the screen?
Yes, okay. I do not have the camera, but yes, I can unshare the screen. Okay, here I am. Are there some questions in the chat? No.
Not yet.
Okay, yes, something was there.
So that was very brief information on the data side. So was everything clear, or do you have any questions you want to clarify anything, or do you have any problems with that you think you don't know how to deal with it?
Bo. Hello,
Yeah.
Bo.
I have a question when it comes to the composite data sets that are several dimensions. If we have data that we produce in our project, but are produced by several of the partners, they are several. In that sense, they are several sub data sets, but in the project we treat them as one data set. And then in addition to that, we have complementary data or background data. And in our case, it's kind of reference data that we have spectral data that we produce within the project, and then we relate that to, for example, organic matter that is produced outside the project. How do we deal with that? Because, I mean, when it comes to the spectral data, it's no problem, but without the organic matter data, the data sets are pretty useless. But we may not be able to upload those together. How should we treat it? as one data set or as several data sets, both when it comes to the within EJP produced data and the external data and data from the different partners?
Well, I think that these are several data sets because you may refer, for example, about authorship to the group. For example, I know in Proffield we are producing data sets under different field campaigns and different institutions. So I think that each one is has to be cited as its own authorship. I mean, and this much more for what you are using that is not produced under EJP SOIL. You should just use the rules of the institution that has shared with you this data. This is what, but in any case, it's important to have the metadata also of the data sets that it is not allowed to be open, for example, but at least to know which data set has been used. This is a metadata. This is very, very important to have. Don't know, Paul, you want to integrate?
Yeah, so yeah, I think this is a really interesting question, and yeah, maybe we should sit together at some point to have a dedicated meeting on this topic, because I think there's a lot to say about this. Remember that Maria shared this CC BY range of licenses. If all of those data sets that you were using were correctly licensed, you would be able to derive if you can use those data sets quite easily. There's, for example, the ND, non-derivative work attribute that a license may include, which tells you, can I use this or not? This gives also, yeah, so this use case really indicates also the importance of aligning our licenses, because we have hundreds of data sets that we, as covariates, that we use in a certain model. If we have to go through each of them, can we use this in this context? Can we share it? That's a lot of work, and but important. And I think so. This is a really interesting use case. More from the metadata side. If you generate the record for your metadata record, it would be good to reference each of the sources, which kind of a challenge if it's 100, but still it's really good for transparency. Doesn't necessarily mean that those source data sets need to be published, but at least people may then be aware that they are used. But yeah, I suggest we have a dedicated meeting on this topic.
Yeah, maybe, yes. I think would be interesting. It is clear, Bo?
Sorry?
It is more clear than before, Bo? Did we answer?
Maybe. We
Okay.
can discuss it afterwards.
Okay.
Okay, I see also that there are more people interested in this meeting that you are going to plan. Special data sharing.
Yeah,
meeting.
I saw this, for example, this question about by Anna Marta Paz. I think the two things are not in opposition at all, because Zenodo is the repository. Then in the catalog, you have the list of what, I mean, the recall of which are the data sets. So you have a list of data sets, each one uploaded in some kind of repository if it is open, I mean. So
the catalog is the catalog of metadata, and then they will lead to the data set in Zenodo. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and maybe one of you, Maria or Paul, can say something about codes or models about depositing those. Are there differences, or how to do it? Do we need to do it?
This was in the presentation by Florian, I remember, the depositing of codes, yes. I suppose, being a fair principle, also this should be uploaded somewhere, but I'm not so expert to answer to this. How do you see, Paul?
Yeah, we had already yesterday discussion. We should, need, obliged. At what level are things obliged? I think probably the grant agreement doesn't tell you to make your sources open source, or maybe it does.
But if you would like to do it?
If you would like to do it, or if it is an obligation, then for sure it makes, if you publish somewhere your sources, preferably on a GitHub or Codeberg or Bitbucket type of repository, for sure it makes also sense to register it in a registry. So just so people that make a search on this topic also find the software in that code repository.
Yeah.
And link it to the article where you publish.
And the link to the article. True.
Yeah, I think that I was reflecting. I think that what Florian told us in Riga was that the idea is that you may, as a researcher that read the paper, you may be enabled to reproduce your research. So if you have the data there, you have the methodology explained, you have the software used and the code you use to analyze, you have the full to do this, all the instruction. I don't think that this is completely declared neither in the grant agreement and maybe not in the FAIR principle. I don't know, but it is for sure suggestible for open science. I mean, yeah. So this is what I think could be said today.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think software is mentioned in the FAIR principles, mostly on the reusability side.
Okay. Are there any other questions or considerations or doubts? Or maybe you want to share with us an example of how you did something. I think there is also a question coming in the chat.
Yeah, I'm answering to Cecile for that. Yeah, I think you understood correctly.
Okay. Are there any other questions? Okay, there's a very good question from Nadia. Whether deliverables from EJP soil should be uploaded in Zenodo or not. If the deliverable is, well, the stock takes deliverables. If the deliverable is a public deliverable, which is for the case of the stock takes, then it should have a DOI. So it means that it should be uploaded in Zenodo. It's also available on our knowledge sharing platform of EJP Soil, but we would rather prefer, and this is something that we also promised to the European Commission, that the deliverables that are relevant for a broader audience, that they should be uploaded to Zenodo as well. We have already done it for a number of deliverables, so I'm not sure whether this one you are mentioning is already there. So maybe it would be good to check first before you do it again. Fabrizio.
Yeah, same question on the same line about project deliverables. I have many contact with the WP9 in order to try to get them uploaded on the project website, but this seems not to be functioning from some reason, even after the authorization and the green light from working package 3. So what's the procedure then? A clear one, easy to apply in order to get a DOI and made those documents available to a wider audience. Because so far we have 5 or 6 deliverables ready, and it's more than 1 year that I'm struggling to get them visible somehow, and I cannot manage that. Okay, so there is a little bit of frustration.
Okay, so what we could do is write a short a guide on how to do it. Basically, what you do is you go to Zenodo, you log in, and if you're not registered yet, register, and then you can upload the deliverable to Zenodo, and while uploading, it will ask you whether you want to have a DOI or whether you already have one. So if you don't have one, you automatically apply for a DOI there. So you just upload, and while uploading, you get a DOI.
Yeah,
and then at that moment, once you have uploaded it, please send it to your project communication representative so that it
Which
can
is
be
me.
also.
Yeah.
Okay. Then okay, that's great. Then then you could send it to work package 9, so to Lina, and ask her to include it on the knowledge platform.
Okay.
And the easiest would be just to include the link to Zenodo on the EJP Soil Knowledge platform.
Great, thanks a lot. But if you could provide a short document, one-page document with that to all the consultants, will be really great, and I appreciate it. Thanks a lot, then.
Yeah, and I see also a related question from Rudy, whether deliverables should be uploaded before or after they are approved by the European Commission. Our experience is that that is relevant for work package deliverables because they need to be approved by the European Commission. It is not valid for project deliverables. So for work package deliverables, it can take almost a year before they are approved. So we have discussed that we would like to upload them before they are approved. So and once you upload your deliverable, you can already include on the front page something on the CC BY license that you choose and the DOI number that you get from Zenodo. But we'll again include that in the guide.
This is an interesting question. The last one.
Okay,
I think correct can be correct, but if you upload after, you cannot cite inside your paper, I think. So this is the problem, I think. Right, Paul?
Yeah, the possibility, so preferably do it indeed before the article is finally published on the publishers platform. If it's not possible and you do it afterwards, then a possibility would be when you upload your article to Zenodo, which you need to do anyway, it will ask you for a link for any links relevant, and then you can include the link to that paper, from that paper to the data in Zenodo. So Zenodo offers that possibility afterwards. And certainly if you do it after the embargo period. Yeah. Okay, that was a good discussion, I think. Some things are not very clear yet. And for us, it's also a bit of experimenting. What's the best ways to do? And we have been indicating to the European Commission, so we are not the first project. How are the other projects dealing with it? With all the repository links and things to their troubles, but we don't get much response from their side on that. So we need to experiment ourselves. Okay, did I miss any additional questions in the chat? No, anyone else? Okay, then I would like to ask you if you want to provide us with any feedback on this webinar or on what you actually need on information from us. Please let us know by email. In the meanwhile, I see Martha saying questions will come up together with publications. Yeah, that's right. So give us your feedback, and if in the meanwhile, when you are publishing, you have questions, please let us know. we'll be happy to try to help you. And thank you very much for attending the webinar. I would like to thank all the presenters and those who contributed to the discussion. So we will be sending you the slides shortly after this meeting so that you can check all the links. And I would like to wish you all the success with your work within EJP Soil. And I would also like to take the opportunity to invite you all to our annual Science Days of EJP Soil that will take place on the between 10 and 14th of June next year in Vilnius in Lithuania. So June 10 to 15 or 14, sorry, in that week, we will have our annual Science Days, and you're all very much invited to join. It will be a very interesting this next year because there's so many results coming in. So I expect very good discussions. Thank you very much and good luck also with publishing and storing the data, and see you next time. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Anna. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.